Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor, a great pleasure to be here. And good afternoon. I would like to talk just very briefly about perspectives. Perspectives as an entrepreneur, perspectives as an industry player, about how we get this small job done. You'll be surprised, I don't think it's too difficult. But there are one or two challenges on the way which we have to address. My basic thesis, we talk about all the problems and challenges associated with the energy transition. This is one of the largest opportunities for not the next decade, for the next decades, which can make massive, massive contributions to all of the countries involved in the energy transition. The energy transition needs a lot of electrification to decarbonize electricity systems, replace fossil-based heating systems, etc. It's going to be driven primarily by the availability of green electrons, and I will talk to you from that angle. I think what we are seeing is there are probably going to be two main workhorses for this change. On the generation side, one is solar, one is wind. We are solar. And let me just give you what this is about. I started in this industry in the year 2000. At that stage, as an industry, we could celebrate an installed solar capacity worldwide of just over 1 gigawatt. March last year, that was just crossing the 1 terawatt, 1,000 times more. Where the industry today is just about where the automobile industry was at the beginning of the 1900s. To make an impression on the climate targets, to make a change over the next 20 to 30 years, the world will have to accelerate a little bit of its pace on the deployment of these technologies. Most of the scientists are telling us we will need to be thinking in the scope of 30 to 60 terawatts. So what we've done in the last 23 years, we need to do every year again. And it's possible. And it's not so difficult, actually. What I will talk to you about is a couple of the hurdles. We are, as a company, focused on developing solar plants worldwide. We've invested a huge amount of money and time and developed a 50 gigawatt pipeline of these projects worldwide, over 47 countries. So we have a little bit of experience, we see what's going on. And I will try and give you a little bit of the insights from that. What this industry has achieved in these last decades, and I've seen it, it's not just been about building industries in certain countries. It's not just been about leveraging investments of hundreds of billions, creating thousands of jobs. Those have been byproducts. The main thing we've done is warm up. The costs of this technology have fallen, I've seen them fall 90% over the last 23 years. Today, where this leaves the industry is for most of the applications, there is no cost-effective alternative to this. This is the cheapest one. It's only going to go this way going forwards. From the macroeconomic perspective, for your countries, and your countries have challenges and you need to electrify. You have primary fundamental electricity growth requirements. plus replacement requirements of your fossil-based fleets, decarbonisation. That's going to be the key technology of choice. That's all ready to go. The challenges are not about technology. They're not about manufacturing. They're not about capital and money. They're about something far more basic. So what we have is this huge opportunity, and you're going to need this opportunity. You will create massive social value. Just looking at the electrification rates worldwide in a lot of the developing economies, that's probably the biggest social benefit. With that, you'll create education, you'll create wealth, you'll create millions of jobs. And by the way, that's not just an opportunity, that's just slowly becoming an imperative. The question is how we get there. And then you'll create something else. You'll create the next big wave, which is going to be hydrogen fuel-based. But hydrogen needs electrons. So it's about the electrons, primarily. We can, if you give me a market where there's demand, industry will come to it very quickly, and finance will come to it. You can build your manufacturing chains, probably, within 2 years. You can't build other electricity generation systems so quickly. This is what industry has achieved. These are just launching pads. But there are certain things we need to get right first. Well, I think looking worldwide, I see lots of initiatives, and guess what? It's all going too slow. There's a lot more things we can do. The key to this is actually initially establishing local demand and local markets. Once they come, the rest follows. You will get your investment, you will get your manufacturing, you will get your deployment. This is generally where we're stuck and where we have established those markets. We've got a lot of market conditions that need to be sorted out to enable the deployment quickly. The key challenge there isn't an industrial challenge. It's a political challenge. It's about the political frameworks and tools you need to employ to enable this. I've seen lots of markets worldwide start, stop. I've seen lots of single initiatives. I'm going to give you one example of one project towards the end of the speech where I think you'll get the idea. But if you can create from the political level, who are governing our societies, those market conditions, let me promise you one thing. The capital will be leveraged, the industries will be leveraged, this will come, it will come quickly. That's the bottleneck. Where you have these markets today, we have certain aspects which are not enabling these technologies to be deployed quickly. And I think if there's one main message I would make to the politicians, to the people who are responsible and can adjust these frameworks, is focus on these things. Not for the more emerged markets, but for the emerging markets. This is about creating the frameworks and policies for things like auctions, demand, where you've got non-liberalized markets, you can't address the market, you can't deploy your technologies. These are things like PPA mechanisms, semi-liberalized mechanisms. We see lots of examples worldwide. We're probably not addressing 10% of that potential. That one's the key one. Create the electricity markets, the rest will follow. And this will need tools, policies, things like feed-in tariffs, net metering systems. We've got it all. We're not leveraging it. Where we have those markets, then you have to do something else. Let me give you an experience. 10 years ago, we were developing photovoltaic systems in Europe, my permitting times were about a year. Today, I'm on average about 5 to 6 years. That's a problem, no? I can get a 150, 200, 300 megawatt system built in 1 year. That's not my problem. My problem is the 5 or 6 years it takes just to get the decisions through. And this has a lot to do with permitting process. This has a lot to do with land issues, with law, with the bureaucratic infrastructures we've got, which are from the past and not really geared up to what this energy transition needs. I think if you want to make one mark, and this is not just a Europe, this is everywhere. This is the US, this is Asia where we're involved, this is Africa where we're involved. Fast track those permissions. You will get technology penetration super quickly. You will have to sort your grids out as well. Grid strengthening is a key one. In a lot of the Asian countries, land ownership issues is going to be a big one. You get those type of aspects then, and those are governmental policy decisions. The rest will follow. It cannot follow prior to that, even if you've created the markets. That's probably the main one. And don't forget that 30 to 60 terawatt potential. That's major industry, major change, major value creation and wealth for all of your countries. I'm going to give you one example, if I may, which I think is a super example as to the power of what these technologies can do. You may have, and I'll go to Asia for this one. It's a project we're working on together with a number of other consortia. Singapore wants to change its gas-based electricity system. 30% of this should be renewables by 2035. For this, they're going to need massive investments. So what we're working on is creating one of the largest world-scale photovoltaic complexes, 3.5 gigawatts, with 12 gigawatt hours of battery storage systems and a small undersea cable from one of the Indonesian islands. This means cross-border work. This is an investment of $5 to $7 billion. And by the way, what this will bring with it, it'll catalyze an industry there. Manufacturing will follow, etc. You can do this, and you can do this very quickly. I'm talking here about something that can be achieved in 8 years. You can take these beispiels and you can do them, examples, and you can do them in many places. Ladies and gentlemen, energy transition, huge opportunity for all of your countries. There are a few basic aspects. This is about market demand, so creating the markets, and this is about creating the permitting parameters to make this happen. It's not so much more complex than that. The potentials are huge. The imperative, the opportunity are accelerating. And could I say, this one is there for the taking. Thank you.